Hi everyone. Today I wanted to start a new series for my IGTV videos where I present some of my favorite members of the Instagram comics community. And I am super happy to welcome as my first guest, Maya, also known as Sunflower the Blerd on Instagram. Hi Maya, how are you?
Hi. I'm excited. I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too, so it's all right. So I wanted to start off with, if it's possible for you to describe yourself, to present yourself to my followers so they get to know you. Like, who is Maya?
Maya is complicated. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I just am a girl who likes the nerd stuff. I like comic books. I like video games. I love just science fiction in general. Yeah, comics are like my life. I love them so much. I just like to really have a lot of fun with it, and I love this community because I can just literally be myself, and it's the nicest thing ever. Yeah, I do a lot of reviews. I do a lot of I don't do a lot of hot takes. I don't really feel a lot of enjoyment in that, but I do a lot of reviews. I post a lot of my favorite books. I have a YouTube where I talk about all of my favorite books, and yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, I've known you for at least almost a year, I think now, and
Yeah.
I really love your personality. I think you are super chill, super adorable, and I love you.
Thank you.
Well, that's why I chose you as my first guest, is because you make me so like comfortable. You know, like
Oh, thanks.
we all know that English is not my first language, but with you, it's like I don't even mind. You know, because I know you're so kind and like not judgy.
Yeah, I try not to be. So mean.
But yeah, as you mentioned, you have a YouTube channel. So I would like to know more about that. Like, why did you decided to start a YouTube channel? Because we all know that it is so different than the Instagram, like the Instagram world, you know. So what?
Yeah.
Because you started recently, so what makes you decide to do that?
Well, okay, so reason I did that was because I love Instagram and I love like putting all my videos on here, but I felt like it was so like some of my videos were so long, and I always felt like I wanted to kind of just like be able to ramble and talk about things and get it all off my chest because like sometimes people don't stay on IGTV for 20 minutes. They're like, okay, this is boring after like 5 minutes, but people go to YouTube to listen to somebody rant or listen to somebody just kind of like dive into what they love and I love that about YouTube. I don't like the darker side of YouTube. I just kind of stay in my little area. And I saw that like a lot of people liked it, like Sydney, like we were talking about earlier. I love her YouTube. Like she just is so chill and she just talks about her favorite books, and I love being able to do that.
She's adorable.
She is so adorable. I love her so much. And I love that. I love being able to do longer form videos where I can just kind of talk to the camera and just, just relax and be myself and like talk about my favorite comic books and things like that. So yeah, my Instagram I started because I was frequenting a comic book shop in Jersey called Gotham Underground, and we were just talking about how I don't really post about my comic books, but I really wanted to, and I didn't even know the comic book community existed until like a year ago. Because I was talking to them, I would go in there and I would talk to them for like hours and just give my opinions about stuff. And they're like, you should really start a YouTube or like an Instagram because like you have some pretty interesting views. And like, I read a lot of indie books and a lot of people don't read a lot of indie books. So I really just wanted to highlight a lot of that stuff and be able to talk about it without feeling like I'm talking to a wall, Because sometimes people are like, yeah, I don't care. And I'm like, well, these people get me. So they'll be able to understand.
Yeah, I think that's crazy how like because I don't have any comic friends around me either. Well, so I feel like YouTube and Instagram is so nice because I have such a like connection. I mean, you are in California, I'm in Canada. Like we are
Right.
so like far
It's
from each
crazy how
other.
big the community is. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
But it's really nice. And by the way, I just want to mention that your YouTube video quality is like top notch for someone who just started. It's like crazy good. I'm so impressed.
Dude,
Um,
I literally, when I said my boyfriend's my sound engineer, that is like downplaying it. He is the best. Like, when he like provides my cameras my lighting. He bought like boom lights so that I could have better lighting. He got like these like the colors that I have in my videos, all him. He like when I told him I wanted to do this, he was like, "We're gonna do it." Like,
Yeah, go big or go home, right?
he's one of those people, yeah. And he just really supported me. He helped me. So I honestly owe my production quality to him. Like he's great. Like he will come home from work, set up for me, and then just leave. And he's like, "I got you, babe."
Well, tell him thank you because honestly, that's something that I really appreciate from your account is that it's so like professional looking, if I can say that. It's just like so nice to look at your account always, all the time, either Instagram or YouTube. It's just beautiful.
Yeah,
And you have an amazing content also.
I try. I really do because I appreciate that too. I love great video quality. I love when I'm watching a video and I can like see the person clearly and I can see their background and they have like a great aesthetic. And like I love like YouTube aesthetic is one of my favorite things. I know that's weird, but like if I'm watching a YouTube video and the quality's good and the levels are great and like the editing's good, that's a good YouTube channel to me. Like, you know, so we try our best because he's really big on production and stuff like that. So yeah, I owe it to him.
Well, you're having a great team, so
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
You said that you started like going into the comics and stuff like that like a year ago. Like you really got into comic a year ago ish. So what got you into comics? Like why did you started reading comics?
So I actually grew up reading comics kind of sporadically. Like my dad is a huge collector. My dad has a giant collection of comic books. Like I remember growing up and like we had to like make space in our closets for my dad's comic books because he had so many. And like he collected a bunch of X-Men and Avengers comics were his favorite. Spider-Man's his favorite, his all-time favorite comic book character, and he collected a lot of Spider-Man. I grew up watching, you know, Blade, X-Men movies, all of those. Like we would have movie marathons when we were kids on like a Saturday. My parents would just put on the Blade movies and we would all just hang out in one room all together and just watch all of those movies. Or like all the Matrix, like just stuff like that. I grew up with Lord of the Rings and like just all the nerd things. So we read Narnia and everything when we were kids. So I have like roots in the comic book community, and I didn't really start frequenting shops until I was about 22. I had just had my daughter, and I was like, I need something to do. I am bored in this house. So there was a shop about 30 minutes from where we lived, and I would go there a lot because it was right around the corner from an ice cream shop. And I started reading Saga, and from Saga,
Classic.
it branched. Classic. Saga is ultimate classic. I started reading Saga, and then it branched into Sex Criminals was my second like big title that I read. I love that story, by the way. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. Like I would pick up random things sporadically. I didn't start, I want to say, collecting or like really paying attention to like hotkeys and things like that until last year when I started going to that one shop because I had I was living in California, I moved back to New Jersey, and then I was moving back this way. So I was like, I need something to do between that span of time. And like, I guess it was just natural for me after like growing up around like science fiction and nerd stuff my whole life. Like I was like, this feels right. This is a natural progression of things. Like, so yeah, like collecting is so fun for me because like I got that Venom. It's up there somewhere. I got that Venom 9.8 just on a whim one day. Like I started really looking at like some of the rare items and like the value that they have, and like the art is like amazing. Like I've always loved art. I've always loved storytelling. So like it was just a natural fit for me to just get into comic books because the stories are always so amazing, and then the art is just like great. I love art. I love it so much. So it could be like static art or like, you know, like because I love movies and I love cinema, and then like comic books just felt like, you know, a natural adage to that, you know.
Yeah. I don't know if we say that in English, but in French here in Quebec, we call it, if I translate it like word for word, the comic universe, we call it the ninth art.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's like for here, la bande dessinée, so like graphic novels, if you wish, we really consider it like a ninth type of art in the art industry. And I always like really connected with that because it's true that it's so, for me, it's really like a type of art. Like you said, it's so creative. There's the
Right.
drawings, there's the colors, there's the writing. That's also a type of art, which is like just a combination of everything. So beautiful for me.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me that people don't see graphic novels as art sometimes, or comic books in general as art, when they
Yeah.
are literally just like, the story is just an accompaniment to the art for me. Like they're very symbiotic, like where you can't have one without the other. Like and I'm like, I don't see how you don't love this. It's so great. Like somebody poured their soul into this, and like it's beautiful, and the story is beautiful most of the time, and it's just like, how could you not love it? You know?
I feel like because I talked about that on the Comic Launch podcast last week, but I feel like it's because like outsiders,
Right.
they only like connect comics to Marvel and DC, and they
Right.
tend to forget like the independent world, which is a little bit more like artistic, if I may say. So
Yeah.
like for outsiders, we only think about superheroes and like Batman, Catwoman, stuff like that, and we
Right.
don't
Right.
we tend to forget like the art side of comic books. Anyway, personally, I think that's a challenge.
Yeah,
But
I feel like that's definitely true. I feel like sometimes even within the comic book community, you have that where people
yeah,
will kind of downplay indie art and indie comic books because they're not like the big box, names like Marvel and DC. And
yeah.
like when I tell people, I rarely read Marvel and DC, they're like, "Huh?" I'm like, "There's a whole world like comic books."
I feel
Yeah.
that so much. Like for a long, long time, I was feeling like I wasn't part of the comic community because I don't read Marvel and I don't read DC and I don't care about them, and I was feeling like I'm a fake, like people
Right.
people think that I don't know my stuff. People think that I'm not interesting or I'm just a fake comic fan because I don't read Marvel or DC, but like it's not true.
Yeah, it's obviously not. It's just kind of rude to me. Like people who like, we call that gatekeeping in
Yeah.
America. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have a term for it, but like that's what it is, and it's just really frustrating because like people will like exclude you from things because you're not particularly interested in that. And it's not even that I'm not interested in Marvel and DC. It's just that Marvel and DC have been around for so long that
Yeah.
it's so hard to just be like, I'm going to pick up an X-Men book. You're like, what the hell is happening? Like, I don't even know. Who are these people and why can they fly? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah,
Like,
you just cannot start from any numbers. It's like you're lost and there's so much like crossovers and like
oh man, tell me about it. And you're like, if you miss one, you're done. Like,
exactly,
who is
exactly.
this? Yeah. And there's so many spin-offs. Like, oh my gosh, so many deaths that don't really count, but they really are. Like, it's too much. It's too
Yeah,
much.
for me it's definitely too much for
Yes,
sure.
exactly.
But yeah, so the earlier you said that you bought a 9.8 Spawn, I think.
No, I
Um,
got it's a Venom. Let me
oh,
grab it.
Venom. I'm so sorry. You see
They're
how
good.
much I know my Marvel DC stuff.
This bad boy, I fell in love with this because Stanley, obviously, and then it was a Venomized. This was actually a Stanley mystery box exclusive.
Oh.
So yeah, and it was pricey. So,
But
I
CGC, it's always pricey, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I don't think I'll get, like, I have my paper girls, both of them are signed. I will never turn them in because they are just like the price for the grading is what you would probably get for the comic itself. Like I already paid for the book. Why am I paying you $60 to grade it? I know who signed it.
yeah.
It came with a certificate. So,
I
and it's
agree so much with that.
yeah, and it's weird. Like if I were to take it in now, like they would ding me points because I didn't get it signed. Like because I think at the booths at at a con or anything, they have the CGC people there. And if you turn it in, you get a higher grade. But if I were to turn these in now, I would probably get like a 6, even though they're in mint condition. And I'm just like, what? Like, this is
Yes.
so messed up.
I am so glad that you're talking about that because that's an issue I have with the like comic world for so long. Plus,
Yeah.
like as I said, I'm in Canada, so like if I want to send my comics to be graded to CGC or what's the other one, CBCS, I think I have to pay shipping, but like extra stupid shipping.
Right. And I'm like, why? I'm already paying you like $80 to put it in the case.
Exactly. But it gets me so mad every time that I have
Right.
to, like, I understand the whole concept, but like, I had my Batman Dam signed I think last summer. And I got so mad because they basically told me they didn't have the case for it, and like, if I wanted to ever like have it graded, I needed to like have the signature authenticated and everything. I was just like, you know what, fuck that.
That's
Like,
too much. That's too much. Like I can't. I don't have the time.
exactly. I don't have the time. I don't want to spend money on this. I know who signed it.
Right.
I
It's
saw
special
it
to me,
visually.
right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, I think it's so weird. It's such a weird system. Like I just could not ever see myself turning over any of my stuff for CGC. Like I get it. I saw and it's crazy because they keep trying to get me. They keep trying to get me with these in-house signings because Scotty Young is doing one, and I was
I
like,
know.
I might pay $80 to send my I Hate Fairyland to him because, and I have a Curse of Carnage, that Scotty Young cover, and I was like, man, that would look nice as hell if I got that shit signed, but I'm not gonna do it. They're not gonna get me for not for $80 per item is what it was.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, you keep that.
It's crazy. Not that I don't like. I know that some people collect comics for that aspect, like for the like monetary value aspect, like having them graded and like signed and having a higher value for what you purchase and stuff like that. But for me, that's just not part of it.
Right.
But I still understand why people do it. I don't judge. It's just that I will never do that personally.
No, not unless I had like endless money and I could
Yeah,
just like spend money on ridiculous shit. Like I could just,
exactly.
yeah, like if I had like go fuck you money, I would totally get it done at this point in life. Then again, I'm just like such a fiscally responsible person for the most part that I'm just like, I couldn't justify spending $80 for something I'm gonna hang on my wall, that I'm not gonna ever like. I just couldn't. I can't.
No,
That's
because
Scotty
like
Young though. Trying to
when
get
I have to like go grocery shopping, I always take, if I have to choose between two types of bananas, I'm gonna take the less expensive one. So
yeah.
why am I gonna spend so much money on having a comic in a plastic thing, you know?
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
crazy. Yeah, and I only got this because they had one that was not graded. This one isn't even signed. It's just graded.
Yeah.
Um, which is wild to me. I mean, obviously it would have been like twice as expensive if it was signed, but I got it because it was Father's Day and they had one out of the slab and I got that one for my dad and I saw this one and I was like, that bad boy's graded though. I got that one. I don't have any grade. That's the only graded comic I have. I have other, and it's crazy because it's not even signed. Like that's wild to me. And the other ones are probably worth more because they're signed, but this one is graded. So
Yeah.
the whole system is just upside down.
Yeah, I think that's something. It's like you said, it's upside down, but like I said, I don't judge. It's just
Yeah.
it gets me mad sometimes. Like I just
Like this doesn't
obsess
make any
over that.
sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So, speaking of that, is there anything that you would like to change in the comic community? Like, is there, because I think that right now, well, personally for me, it's a subject that I really want to talk a lot because we see a lot of, I mean, let's be honest, discrimination, representation, inclusivity, safety. Even here in Quebec right now, we have a huge second wave of hashtag #MeToo movement. So it's something that's really important for me to talk about, even if it's a little bit less joyful. But
Yeah.
is there anything that you would like to change in the comic community for a better future?
I it's interesting because there was that story that came out about a writer who just like there was a bunch of stories that just came out about him. I don't remember who the writer was. I feel like I was doing other stuff when this was happening. There's so much happening right now that I'm like my focus is split between like 8 things. There's a writer that people were talking about. It was like an open secret that he was kind of a jerk. Which is probably true. I think that a lot of the older people in the comic community still have a lot of bias towards female writers and female artists and like, just women in comics in general. There's that whole aspect of, oh, girls can't like comics or they don't know whatever. It's weird. It's
Or my favorite is girls at conventions with like mini skirt and stuff like that, they're just asking for it, like cosplayers and
Oh
stuff like that.
God, yeah. You're like, let me enjoy my time. Like, you go
Exactly.
mind your business over there. Like,
Exactly.
so the hell, like, why do you get to come out and be your best authentic self and I can't? Like, how is that fair to me at all? Like, I don't give a shit if I'm wearing a mini skirt. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. Mind your goddamn business. Like, I think that con culture is so toxic. Oh my God. I've never been to a convention specifically because of that. Because I have a lot of friends who go to cons. Like my I have a friend that goes to MomoCon pretty much regularly. Oh no, hold on. Let me my thingy. Oh, that's fantastic. I dropped my bottle. There we go. Um my recording stopped because it's doing movie mode or something. I have a friend that goes to MomoCon almost yearly and she loves it, but like she kind of insulates herself with good people. So that's nice. But I've heard so many stories of girls getting raped at cons and like, just a lot of like super like discrimination, like people kind of just being dicks because, oh, excuse me, black cosplayers cosplaying people that are not people of color. And like, it's just weird to me.
Oh,
Like,
that's stupid. I mean,
I'm like, mind your
like,
business.
but just not just that. I mean, it's first of all, it's a fictional character, so it can have the
Right.
skin color, like whatever. Like if I want to portray it in pink, I can. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, and like as long as there's no blackface happening, we should be fine, right? Like that's like literally the one rule to cosplay. Don't do blackface, don't do Asian face, and those are like those are it,
Don't do something that's hurtful. Like don't
Mhm.
do it on purpose.
Right.
Like you can
And
represent a character, and like I can, as a female, I could represent a male character. Without
right.
like having this whole thing. But yeah, I think that's like there's always like crossing a line that we have to be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah, and a lot of people do cross that line, and it's sad that you still have that happen, and it's sad that people still kind of police the way people express themselves, especially at conventions. Like, I feel like everybody should just be able to do their own thing. Everybody mind their
Yeah,
business.
as
Like,
like as long as it's respectful. I mean,
right.
what's the trouble?
It's weird. I mean, I feel like I've been to definitely have been to comic book shops where I have been ignored largely by the
Oh yeah.
staff. And I love to talk. Like I like you can ask anybody I know. I'm a talker. I will talk to anybody about anything, whenever, wherever. And like I used to go to this one store in New Jersey where I lived. Whenever I couldn't make it up to my regular shop, that I actually loved those guys because they would literally have like an hour-long conversation with me about pretty much anything. But there was another shop that I went to that was closer to me, but I didn't go because they would just ignore me. Like they would never ask me if I needed help, like finding something. And then like if I tried to strike up a conversation with them, they'd be like, okay. Like I'm like, all right, I guess you don't want a repeat customer. But then like another like dude would come in, or I guess one of their regulars would come in and they'd be like, oh hey, like what's up? Like you don't want to foster that same community with somebody. Like I just thought that was weird. Like I've had that happen to me multiple times. Um yeah, it's just super weird. I wish there were more women who had comic book shops.
Oh yeah, that would be like super cool.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to go before I left New Jersey to Amalgam Comics. It's in Philly, and it's ran by a black woman, and it's like 3 stories, and she's got a coffee shop in there. And I was like, man, I've actually wanted to open up like a coffee shop and comic book shop for a long time. So it's something I'm working on. But like, what an inspiration, Like I've always wanted to see more genuine feminine representation in comic book shops, and it's like so difficult to find that. Like, I don't know.
But why do you think it's so difficult? Is it because women are not welcome, or do you think that for a long, long time it was a boys' club and we felt as women we felt more like excluded? Do you think it's something that's gonna change over time, or you think that we have to take action? Is there something that is there a specific detail that makes it again a boys' club?
I'm not entirely sure if it's just because it's a boys club, which comic books is 100% a boys club. It's kind of hard for it to not be sometimes. But I think it's more like just general interest in comic books amongst. It's weird because I know so many black people and black creators who love comic books, but for some reason there's not as many black comic book shops, and I just think that is so weird. And I don't think I can pinpoint a reason why. I just think that comic books in general is a hard business to go into. It's a hard to have a brick and mortar comic book shop. It's really difficult to make a profit in the comic book community in general if you're having a shop. So, and I think that's largely what it is. Yeah, I don't think I can pinpoint a general reason why. I think it's just a difficult business, and like a lot of people just don't go into it because it's hard, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true, it's hard, especially like with the digital books and stuff like that. It's like getting harder and harder. But I would be really sad if the comic universe will transform itself into an only digital world. You know, like I need paper. I need to like have it in my hands.
You know, I think that people had that same fear when it came to like the Kindle and the Nook and stuff like that when that originally came out. I think we'll be okay for a while, but I think that eventually it will slowly start to teeter to just online. I know that either Marvel or DC, Marvel is releasing only digital issues right now. So a lot of their stuff isn't coming out on paper, which is sad. I would be really sad if everything transferred just to digital, because I love having a shelf of books. I love having a wall of books. I love, even though this bin is insanely full, it's got so much crap in it. I love that. Like that's part of being a reader and part of being a collector for me. Like that overwhelming sense of like, oh man, look at how much art I have laying around. Like I love that. You know, it's weird that people buy comic books on digital. Like I could not. Only reason I bought I think Jane Foster's Store digital because I didn't have enough money to buy like print stuff, and that was the only time I bought digital. And I always promised myself, if I can buy the real thing without like hurting my budget, then I will. If I can't, then I just won't read it because I can't do digital. Like it's just, I think it's such a disservice to the creators to read digital. Like they put their hard work into making a physical copy for us, and sometimes in the back of those books they have like, you know, like long descriptions about the characters or their process and things like that. And I love reading that. And that's just so a part of it for me. It's just so weird. Like I couldn't do it. I'd be so sad. It would be like the death of comic books for me.
Yeah, definitely. It would be the death of comic book for sure. Let's talk more positive though. What are you proud of the comic community? Like, what makes you really like proud to say I'm part of this, you know, like I read comics and this is what I love?
I think that the overwhelming support from the online community has been awesome. Like I think that Instagram can be such an insular place sometimes when it comes to certain groups and certain communities, and that's nice to have when it's a positive community. As far as like outside, it depends. It's like hit or miss depending on which comic book shops you go to, what area you live in, and things like that. But I feel like I'm super proud to know all the people that I know in the comic book community. Everybody's so uplifting. Everybody's so welcoming. You know, I feel like if you're in comics because you love comics, there's no reason to not be welcoming and not like talk to everybody and not have, you know, nice conversations. But no, I'm super proud of it. You know, what's funny? My birthday was yesterday. I have 2 Instagrams. I have one for my regular life and one for my comic book. I got 2 people on my regular Instagram that wished me happy birthday. And I was like, interesting. Yeah. Facebook was fine. Like, obviously I have family on there and like people that I know. Like, but the comic book community really showed out. And I was like, man, I really appreciate you guys because like I don't really have a lot of like, I don't have a ton of real life friends because I move so much. I'm so nomadic. And like, you know, I was in the military right after high school. When I was in high school, I didn't have a lot of friends. I had like 2 friends. And then like, you know, all of my internet friends that I have like on Facebook and Instagram are basically just people I've known by association. And then the comic book community was just so accepting and so welcoming that I was just like, I love this place. Like these people are genuine people. And like, you know, there's always like a few people that are obviously going to be bad eggs, but it's been like generally positive and welcoming. And I love that. Like, that's great.
It's so funny that you say that because I'm not kidding. I was thinking about that yesterday because I too have 2 accounts. I have a personal and comic account,
Mhm.
and but well, my Life of a Geeky Mind, but also have a personal one. And as I said, in Quebec, we are experiencing a huge second wave of hashtag Me Too. So like everyone on my personal Instagram is like shouting stuff and like like having like witnessing stuff and like
Mhm.
like having people coming out with like horrible stories, and it's just like I get the movement and like yeah, I support it 100%, but at some point like I need a break. I
Yeah,
need to breathe. I need
it's it's
like
so hard, like being.
I'm a woman. I live this all these stories in my everyday life. So like
Uh-huh.
I don't want to go on Instagram and like be submerged with this. So when I go on my comics Instagram, there's all these people talking about important subjects, but it's uplifting rather than like
Right.
depressing. You
Yeah.
know, like I feel like especially like Sinya, Sinya Reads on Instagram, she's really like she talks a lot about the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that, but I never feel like it's too much. I don't know how to say this, but like
Right. Like it's
she
overwhelming. Yeah.
exactly, but
Yeah.
she keeps it like real and she keeps it simple and it's never overwhelming, and like links it with comics and stuff like that, and I just love that side of the comic community where people are engaging in important subject, but
Mm.
it's still uplifting and you still feel part of a community, you know.
Right. And I could definitely say that too because um my regular Instagram is rife with, just kind of like just me and this hydro flask, we're gonna get our lives together one of these days. It's just rife with like, kind of depressing stuff. And like I too live a lot of this stuff in my daily life. And it's like sometimes people will try to make me feel bad, that I'm not posting about Black Lives Matter and stuff. And I'm just like, first of all, y'all don't even care about me regardless. So you didn't care about me before. You're damn sure not gonna care about me now. So second of all, I post about it on my comic book Instagram often and enough to where it's like, okay, so I'm gonna post it every few days, but I'm not gonna make that the main focus and the main, driver of my Instagram because oh, my SD card is full. That's fine. Um, I should I should probably delete. Hold on, let me actually grab him to delete some stuff off of there. Um, yeah, I feel like it can definitely be overwhelming being in like the real life Instagram and stuff, but it's like I feel like our community is so great where we can use that information to make it transformative where everybody's learning something, where
Yeah.
everybody's kind of learning something from everything and not just being bombarded with like hard statistics and hard facts and feeling like, oh my gosh, like everything's so bad right now. Like life sucks. So yeah, I really love that. I love that about the community.
Yeah. It's so, I don't know, I love that, but that's why I decided to do this little video series for IGTV because like I want people to discover more of the IG comic community, like because it's so uplifting. People are so genuinely kind. I talk like I
Right.
have so many virtual friends to
Yeah,
talk
right?
comics about, and it's so crazy. Like every time it's stupid because we say like social media is not real life and whatever, and it's true. But like every time I log in to my Life of a Geeky Mind account and
Hmm.
I see all those DMs of people like just being kind and being supportive and just like communicating on a good way, it's so
Yeah.
nice and
It's
refreshing.
it is refreshing because like when I say I don't have as much interaction in on any of my other accounts because I feel like as a person who has been like ostracized in real life by like most of my peers because I was like weird and nerdy and whatever, like it's just nice to find my people.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
and
We're all
like be
just a
able.
bunch of nerds.
Yeah, and it's nice. I like it without being like, feeling like I'm like less than anything. Let me offload this SD card and then if I can find out how to get it off because he does this normally. I don't know anything. He works for computers for a living, so all of this stuff is his stuff. Like he knows how to do all of this. I don't know how to do anything. It's okay though. I usually figure it out. Yeah, I love the comic book community. It's pretty great. it's insular in nature, but I like it that way because then we have like, you know, everybody kind of sticks up for each other. And then if there's a problem with anybody, I feel like we all kind of like, we can all kind of discern who is problematic and who is not, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, some people though, we've had some interesting people.
Yeah, of course we got some interesting people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still internet, you know, like.
Yeah, right. Internet's a
But
place.
yeah, but how do you feel about the YouTube community versus the Instagram community? Because
I
I heard it was really different.
I've heard that it's very different as well. I don't believe that I know too many people in the actual YouTube community yet. So it's interesting to me because I don't know too many people in the YouTube community. What the heck? I try and like keep my distance because I've had a few people reach out to me from the YouTube community. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for all that yet, but okay. I'm definitely not like, I'm not ready to be like in the YouTube community because I don't know. I feel like I don't feel safe there. like I feel like I've had a couple of people do like follow for follows and I'm just like, I'm not really interested in that. Like, that's not something that I want to be doing because I feel like I want my support for somebody to be genuine and based off of things that I feel like I've noticed and I've witnessed.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times it's not that. Like a lot of the time people only follow you because they want you to follow them back or they'll, you know, follow your channel because they want you to follow them back. And I'm just like,
Yeah. And then after that, they're gonna unfollow you right after.
I think that is so weird to me. Like, that is super weird to me. I don't get it at all. Like, I don't understand the reason for that. So I don't know. People are weird. I try to just keep my distance. That's why I don't post too much because of that. Um,
But you should, because you are really great.
Thank you. I just I take issue with people trying to get something from you and not actually supporting your work. That's my problem. Like, if you want to follow me because you like me, not because you want something from me. I don't like that exchange that
Yeah.
happens with people. Like, it's just not okay to me. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes that's weird. I have weird encounters like that all the time. I feel like I'm trying to figure out what videos these are. I have so much stuff. Okay, this can all be deleted. I should have done this earlier. Oh my gosh, I have so many random pictures in here on this they're not even random, they're just from videos I did. And now they're all gone because they're already on my laptop. So I should have done that. And he told me, he's like, hey, before you film, you should empty out that SD card because I don't know what all is on there. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I didn't do it. He's always like, wonder why. Yeah. Yeah, the comic book community is, I love it. It's one of my favorite places. It's not, I've heard some horror stories. I have friends who are in like the beauty community. And one of my friends, she does makeup and she does beauty and makeup type things. And she says it's kind of dog eat dog and like they kind of, everybody's backstabbing. And I'm like, no, we don't do that here. Like, we uplift each other and try to help each other and try to make things just all copacetic and nice because who wants that? Like, I don't understand the purpose of drama for drama's sake. I will never understand it. Like, it doesn't like interest me at all, you know?
Yeah. Well, for some people, it's just fun to create drama for that thing.
I don't
But
get it. I don't
yeah.
get that. Like, why? Like, your life could be just so nice and normal. Like, you know, like,
Really, I don't get it either. But I think that's why I love the drama-free community of Instagram, like for the comic community, because I've never seen like I've stumbled upon like couple dramas here and there, but never like huge ones like the
yeah,
beauty community or something like that.
man, they got some problems over there. Like, I mean, I like hearing about it afterwards, but I'm like, ooh, this is kind of juicy. Other than that, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't need it. I don't want it. Yeah. Yeah, comic books are non-problematic for the most part, and everybody's nice and just, you know, chill, and everybody just wants to read good things and talk about good things that they read and like share their favorite things, and that's and the memes. are fantastic. And that's it. Like, I don't care about any of that other stuff.
Yeah, same. And speaking of sharing your favorite reads, what are you currently reading that you want to share with us? Something
Man,
that exceptional.
I am reading so many things. I finished. So I was doing a series for my Pride books for
Yeah.
last month that I was supposed to put. I filmed a video for Pride, and I didn't like it because I kind of half-assed it, so I didn't put it out. And I was like, I don't really like putting out stuff I don't love, so I'm not going to put this out. And I don't think that's fair to the artist's work or to like the story at all. So I just didn't put it out. So now I'm reading Snot Girl. For my birthday, my boyfriend actually got me this really cool book. Let me go get it really quick. It's really nice. This hydro flask is going to be the death of me. Just kicked it over again. He got me this book. It's not a comic book, but it is an art book of all like a bunch of Black creators. And it's beautiful. It's like huge, and it's like,
Ooh.
I know. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, wait a second. I was like, I didn't ask for this. Like I was just so like confused because I didn't ask him to get it for me, and he got me another. Give me 1 second. Stupid SD card. This is why I asked him not to leave me, because then this happens. Like, come help me. Okay, there we go. There we go. We're back. Okay, he got me this for my birthday because I was talking about, Black creators and things like that. And I'm actually going to do an IGTV video on this book because it is awesome. And I think it's so important. It's just a giant book of Black creators, and it has like all their artwork and a bunch of their like notable works in it. Like, it's huge. And it's got like look at that. That is probably my favorite one. This big picture right here is really nice. And then on the side, it'll sometimes have like notable works and some of their graphic novels they put out and stuff like that. Like, this one's pretty cool. And it's awesome. I love this book. I'm like going through it right now and picking out all my favorite like works of art and everything so that I can like do like a list of all the people that I want to read from. I got that giant Thor book. That thing is huge. So I'm going to attempt to read it before the end of the year.
Good luck.
That is not gonna happen. I picked up some stuff yesterday from my local. I got Sex Criminals 29, and what else did I get? I think I got. I don't think. Is it in this bag? It is not in this bag. Just kidding. I did Strange Adventures #2. I got that one.
Oh yeah, I need to get on that.
Yeah, I was like, I should get on this little train they got going on, because I got the first one the other day, and then I was like, I should probably get the second one because it's gonna sell out. And I think I got one of the variants where he's like topless on like some planet or whatever. And I was like, that looks cool. It was the last one, so I think I'm gonna get it. I got sent a bunch of stuff. Tacoma Comics sent me Philadelphia, which I've been wanting to read.
Yes, I've heard so many good things.
Yes, I was like, oh, that looks good. Yeah, I'm reading a bunch of stuff. I need to like actually do it though, because I'm actually on vacation for the next, what's today? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 more days, because I took off for my birthday, and I was like, I'm not coming to work. I'm gonna get day drunk and read comic books all day.
That's a good plan.
I was like, don't call me to come in because it's not happening. So, like, I was like, no. So I'm gonna read a bunch of comics. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I'm reading. I don't think I have a pretty big to be read pile because life.
Life, yeah. Yeah, me too. I have like a bunch of comics. I don't even want to look at it because like it's just growing, honestly. Like, it's just there.
At one point I had just a stack on the coffee table, and my boyfriend's like, babe, please.
Yeah.
Put them somewhere else. I was like, oh, my bad. Oh,
same.
I picked up the other day Stealth #2. The first one was super good. I highly recommend that. It's about Black superhero in like Detroit, I believe. I don't know if I remember it because I read it a while ago, because the first one came out right before COVID, and then the second just came back out. So it's about a Black superhero. He's been like the town superhero forever, And then his son finds out that he was a superhero because he has the father has dementia, and he thinks that like he's still like this superhero, but he's going around beating up good guys by accident, and it's like crazy. And I was like, what? When I found out, because originally I thought it was going to be the son, because they kind of did like a switcheroo where they were like kind of following the son, and then things were happening, and you were like, okay, maybe it's going to be the son. It's totally predictable. And then it was the dad, and he has like dementia, and you're like, whoa, like that's something I was not expecting. Like, 'cause I try not to read synopses. Like, I'll read a brief synopsis, and then I'll try to like, not too much. Yeah, it was pretty nice. So.
I feel like not reading synopsis is the best way to be surprised and like
Mm-hmm.
not having any like preconceived I don't know how to say that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
getting there with like no intentions whatsoever. And I love being surprised by comics. It's the best.
It is the best. I love it so much because then I'm like, oh man, this is so like Saga was one of those where it was just
Yeah.
Saga I had no preface for Saga at all. I just started reading it and I was like, man, this is good. And I had no outside, like, because, like right now I feel like sometimes I'll think about picking something up and I'm like, nah, it's not so good. And somebody will be like, oh my God, it's so good. I'm like, okay, well, now I have to read it. And then I'll read it and it'll kind of let me down. Or it'll be like, or, something I'll read will have no press. And I'm just like, this is so weird. So like, I have to, like, with movies, I will do that too. Like, I'll read a brief synopsis, but I won't watch the trailer. So I'm like, this is good because now I can form my own opinion and I can tell myself how I felt about it and not have to figure out like what other people feel about it. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's a good one. It's a really good book. I try not to read spoilers.
Oh no, I'm guilty though. Like Saga, I had to go read every spoilers because I was too emotional. And like I need to get like mentally ready for things to happen. So like I
refuses to catch up. He's on like volume 6 and I was like, please finish it so we can talk about it.
Yeah, no, like movies, TV shows, comic books, I always go and read spoilers in advance. I hate bad surprises.
I get it because like sometimes it depends on what I'm watching. Like if it's something that's drawn out, like I watch like The Flash, and it'll like I will say The Flash and Supergirl like my guilty pleasures, because the Flash show is good. It's okay. It's like it's better than Supergirl. I'll say that for a fact. But like sometimes they drag scenarios out so long that like I would just not watch the entire season. And then I'll wait for it to come on Netflix. And then I will like read the spoilers. And then I'll watch the show. And then I know which episodes to skip. And I'm just like, I'm bad about that. I'm so bad about that because I just can't. Like sometimes the pacing in TV shows is just not good. It's like, no.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking. I mean, we've been talking for 48 minutes now, which is freaking crazy because like I wasn't expecting that.
That's good though, that we got like a nice conversation flowing. It wasn't so like robotic.
Yeah, but I like talking with you. It's like so nice, and that's why I really want people to see why you are so nice and why I love you so much.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm like, you guys better follow her. I swear to God.
Exactly. That's my
I'll
whole
be very
purpose.
upset.
But I would like to oh sorry, something just fell. I would like to close the video with a super nice uplifting message. So what accounts do you want us to follow or discover?
I love Tiny House Library. She's awesome.
Yes.
I love her so much. She's awesome. Sydney, obviously. Sydney reads. The Comic Lounge, awesome place. Dylan, the Dillbot, awesome dude. I have so many people. I have to shout out so many people right now. Princess Comics, I like her. She loves the pops and everything. She's awesome. Abby reads. Her Instagram handle, I'm pretty sure it's Abby's Board. because the space underneath leads me to believe it's supposed to be an O.
You know what? I love you because I never understand any of those Instagram handles like you.
Yeah.
It took me like months to understand what it meant. Okay,
I know.
so, like,
And
now
I
that
was
you
like, is that supposed to be an O? I need to ask her because I want to know.
okay, so Abby, please answer here and tell us if it's really that, please.
Yes, please, because we need to know. These are questions I need answered now.
And
Who else? Red Lion reads, awesome person. Ant Salvador, he's a great guy. Tacoma Comics, love him. Stay Puff, awesome dude. I think that's it. Oh, FT for the love of comics, he's cool too. I like him. He's a sweet kid. Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, yes, for the love of comic, he's adorable and how he always has like amazing recommendations. Like it's crazy how many times like I can go and ask questions and he's just gonna know the answer.
Yeah, he's really good at that. He's like a wealth of knowledge, and I'm just like, man, I wish I was that cool when I was like 19. Here I am, just old now with very limited comic book knowledge.
You're not old and you don't have limited knowledge because you just did a 51 minutes video talking about comics. Okay?
That's very true. I will take that. I'll take that compliment.
Amazing. Well, I think that's it for today. If you have anything else to add or anything else you want to share with us today.
No, not really. I have some IG stuff coming out, but other than that, not really.
YouTube videos, maybe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? I actually have 3 planned. I have one on Rat Queens and how I'm going to talk about how it was good and then it was bad.
Oh, yes. I'm excited about that.
That one, it was real good and then it got real bad real fast. I'm going to do a Jeff Lemire stories ranked. I'm going to rank all of my favorite, like from my most favorite to least favorite. I don't really do best to worst because I feel like that's super disrespectful to like artists. So I'll do like my favorite to like least favorite, if that makes any sense. Yeah. But I still enjoy them. And then I have the one with the Black Comics Returns. I'm going to do about that book. Oh, I also have my Pride video that I think I'm probably going to shoot today because I actually read everything. So I'm proud of myself because I actually finished doing a thing I said I was going to finish doing, and now I have actual knowledge. So yeah. So I have like 4 projects coming out soon. So that'll be fun. Yeah,
we're excited to see that. I always watch all of them. Always.
That's awesome. See, that's genuine support. I don't need you to like follow me. If you like my stuff, just watch it, you know?
Of course. I mean, you're here today. You're my very first guest.
I know.
And like, I have no words to say how like I appreciate you as a member of this community because you are so awesome.
Thank you. You too. Honestly, I feel like I wouldn't even be anywhere in the community without you because like you were just like so kind and so nice. You introduced me to so many people and I'm just like, yes, I love it. Always. I'm a stan forever.
Thank you. I love that. So yeah, I think that's it for today. So thank you, Maya, for being part of this first ever video series on IGTV. And perhaps maybe we can have you soon again for another kind of video. We'll see.
Yes, I would love that. I love doing collab videos. I think this is my new favorite thing.
Yes, amazing. I love to hear that. Well, so thank you everyone for listening to the video. As I said, I'm really, really happy to have Maya here today as my first guest, and I hope you enjoyed this new series that I just started. And I'll be back soon with new super interesting guests. So stay tuned.
Yay!